Musk torpedoed the House's original bipartisan deal and demanded a new bill that also included suspending the federal debt limit. Those demands were rejected by Republicans with help from Democrats.
The MAGA Republican Christmas is being scrooged by their own kind. 1 minute President Musk is in charge, then Johnson, then Trump, and then it all goes to shit.
Put on your big boy pants. Pass your own bill.
Republicans are turning on each other. The spending bill that just passed on Friday night, hours ahead of a government shutdown, which would have hurt the military men and women Republicans pretend to care about.
That Trump called prisoners of war suckers.
Well, the bill didn't include an extension or elimination of the debt ceiling, which Trump was begging for. The Senate later passed a bill by a vote of 85 to 11, but in the House, the bill passed 366 to 34. And the 34 votes against the bill? Yeah, all Republicans.
You guys still can't get your house in order. Not you, but the Republicans can't get their house in order. This was a fairly straightforward matter that was agreed upon in a bipartisan, bicameral fashion, and still they couldn't get it passed until the last minute.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was about to say, now, Allie, don't put that on us, okay? I mean, as Democrats are swooping in like supermen and superwomen to make sure that they can take care of the American people. But I just need the American people to have longer memories, because as you stated, this Congress ended on the same note that it began. But for some reason, we will not have a Speaker Jeffries on January 3rd. We knew that these Republicans in their slim majority were unable to get anything done. And the crazy part is that Nancy Pelosi had the same slim majority. But guess what? We weren't always in a state of crises, and they are going to go into the 119th with an even slimmer majority.
Yeah, she also apparently had a calculator on her phone, which maybe Mike Johnson doesn't have, to be able to say, oh, wait, we're going to have a problem here.
And this guy, this is Republican Thomas Massie of Kentucky, who didn't want a debt limit increase on the bill, even after Vice President Donald Trump demanded it. Massie said, the president said jump, and we didn't jump.
But you're two Republicans here. We're 24 hours away from a shutdown. You voted differently on a bill tonight that would have saved this. The question is Republicans not being able to get on the same page here. So what happens next?
Are you going to get the right input from the right people to get this bill passed? Because quite frankly, you can't do it in a vacuum. And it doesn't matter because quite frankly, last time I checked, Elon Musk doesn't have a vote in Congress. Now, he has influence, and he'll put pressure on us to do whatever he thinks the right thing is for him. But I have 760,000 people that voted for me to do the right thing for them. And that's what matters to me.
Now, this whole thing about the debt ceiling, Trump had demanded the funding bill raised or eliminated, which limits the amount of debt the federal government may incur. Why is this so important? Well, watch this.
In our nation's 248-year history, 25% of our nation's debt was accumulated during the 4 years of the former president. 25%. How dare you lecture America about fiscal responsibility? Ever. And then President Biden comes to office, and in the process, in his first 2 years, reduces the deficit by $1.7 trillion. And so we see a very clear pattern. The facts speak for themselves. Democrats are the party of getting things done and fiscal responsibility.
Now, the debt and the debt ceiling can be complicated, so let's break it down.
Like many households, the U.S. government does not run a balanced budget, meaning it spends more money than it takes in. To cover that gap, the government borrows huge amounts of money. How? By selling bonds, U.S. treasuries, to individuals, professional investors, and other countries. So think of the debt ceiling as the limit on Uncle Sam's credit card, the maximum amount the federal government can borrow through sales of bonds. When the government reaches the debt ceiling, as it does regularly every few years, it's no longer allowed to borrow until Congress passes legislation to raise or suspend the limit. In 2013, the debt ceiling was used as a threat of economic disaster to achieve a political outcome. House Republicans wanted to starve Obamacare of funds. All of this matters to global financial markets because even the suggestion of Congress refusing to pay bondholders makes the U.S. government a less reliable borrower, one that may not resolve its IOUs.
Now, the irony of Trump wanting to raise the debt ceiling while wanting huge reductions in corporate taxes, well, it really isn't ironic. Vice President Trump and President Musk, they don't care about the government's responsibility to infrastructure, medical research, and, kids with cancer. They just want to make as much money as possible.
So this picture was taken in 1985. That's me, and that's my friend Nathan, the first friend that I remember. And that's Nathan without his hat on. You see, my friend Nathan here had a very rare form of cancer called fibrosarcoma. And he was the first reported case ever in a child. He was also the first reported case where it wasn't in a limb or something that you could amputate. his within his lungs. Nathan died a few months after all these pictures were taken. But cancer research caused him to be around for another year, so his family had another year, a quality year, with him. And that is one of the reasons why I make this video. Because you see, we had a bill in Congress to prevent a government shutdown that both Democrats and Republicans agreed on until Elon Musk stepped in.
Now, with the Republicans tripping over their own dicks, they're looking for someone to blame.
But I am not unpopular.
And that person is the vice president. You know, Vice President Trump.
It's not fair.
But there's other choices.
Meanwhile, President Musk can get down to the business of running the country.
So will Vice President Trump push his billionaire butt rub out of the way, or does Tiny Fingers need his money too much? And how will Trump deal with the GOP frustration with Musk?
So I'm so glad that you asked about this. I was literally moments ago in an elevator with some Republican members who were fuming about the fact that Musk is inserting himself into this conversation, and that the threats over Twitter, X, threats over X, to primary them, to come after them, so privately, at least, they've had it. They've had it with people like Musk, who think that they have the right to insert themselves into a process of elected officials. We've all been elected to represent our constituents, to try to represent them. He is not elected. I just want to remind everybody of that. He may be a very wealthy person, but he's been elected to nothing.
And this next chapter is even weirder.
And all I can say is strap in.
Steve Bannon is saying that he's in favor of taxing corporations and the wealthy.
What the hell did you just say?
Bannon said breaking away from some of the Republicans' long-held economic positions would help cement Trump's legacy, and he views the soon-to-be president as an historic figure. But dude, given the reach around to billionaires is what the Republican Party is all about. Bannon, a convicted felon who stole money from a fake Build the Wall charity and was pardoned by the other fake wall suckbot Vice President Trump, claims he's part of the party that's part of the people. Bannon said, look at the demographics that got us here. Black, Hispanic, white, working class, all of it. If we deliver for these people, and I mean deliver in a big way economically, then this is a coalition that could last 50 years. Dude, you just described the Democratic Party. Your party just fussed or clucked a bill that protects corporate tax breaks while screwing kids with cancer. And look what your friend Dairy Queen just posted. January 6 pardons and Chauvin is a political prisoner? Dude, he murdered an unarmed black man.
It's not going to happen like you think it's going to happen.
So wait a second. So Bannon is now saying that he's in favor of taxing billionaires and corporations. Why would he do that? Is it possible he's worried that Vice President Trump might be in the back seat and President Musk could be driving?
Vice President Donald Trump.
Vice President Trump gave corporations a tax cut from 35 to 21%. That cost the U.S. over $3 trillion. That's real money that could have made a difference in everything from cancer research to building bridges that don't collapse. The Republican Party is damaged. And this time, does Vice President Trump have the mental clarity to recover?
Among the worst in the world. They come from the Congo in Africa. Many people. It's not fair. I don't know what that is.
That sounds like a no.
Damn right.
It's not fair.
I'm as bad as hell. This is not a normal election.
Whether the women like it or not.
Suck my fat one.
And this guy's personal life is a total disaster.
Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, Dan.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Tick-tock!
You're in a lot of trouble, Johnny.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.